Hi, I'm Joe Daniel from JoeDanielFootball.com and the Football Coaching Podcast. Today we're looking at this crazy unbalanced formation against your 4-2-5 defense and how to adjust to it. So we're going to talk about the fact that there are 5 ways to adjust to unbalanced formations and which ones you might want to use against something that is completely ridiculous like this. This actually came in an email from one of our JDFB insiders, and it has taken me forever to respond to it, but I wanted to make sure we got to it. So here's the first thing that we do. This is our base way of playing it. The very first thing that we're going to do, obviously this is an unbalanced. I want to recognize a couple things with it. Not an eligible receiver right here. So there is 0 pass threat over here. There is 0 pass threat. All right. Not an eligible receiver. Covered up by the X. All right. So we've only got 4 eligible receivers. All 4 are to the strong side. That's great because when you've got 4 strong, basically somebody has to come in a crossing route for you to get anything to worry about. So we know right now that passing wise, the only way that we can get anything over here is if somebody comes from here and this guy is ineligible. You want to work with your players, especially if you see something like this on film, or you've got that one crazy single wing team that likes to run some sort of wacky stuff every week. Just be prepared and make sure your kids know it. So the first thing that we do is we tell our kids, all right, find the middle of the 5 fat guys, okay? Find the middle of the offensive lineman, and he becomes your center. So what we would have our Mike linebacker do in this situation is he's going to point out whatever jersey number that this guy is wearing. So that might be the tackle, that could be the guard from the other side, whatever it is. Let's say he's number 55. He's going to be saying 55 is the center, 55 is the center. Now we adjust everything over for 55 to be the center. So if we're playing a weak shade, that makes this, okay, just think of it as this is our, and I'm just going to kind of relabel them real quick. This would be our center, guard, tackle, as far as our alignment is concerned. All right. That means we're going to play our 6 or 7 technique out here. Okay. And we've got our defensive end, weak side end in a 5. Our linebackers. So this is going to be our base way of playing this in the box with our front 6. They come out. We haven't seen it. We haven't thought about it. They just showed up and ran this. Again, there's a lot that you can do with game plan, but this is our starting point. We are probably going to corners over for this. Okay, so I'm going to have my one corner. He might be impressed. Depends on what coverage you want to run here. He can be pressed just to cancel that route out. We say, hey, lock on him. You could do some different things. I think it's probably easiest just to get into a quarter, half in this situation. Most concerning thing as far as the run game obviously would be a Q sweep to that side. But we're going to start out here. And depending on how tight this is, if it's a tight bunch like this, I'm probably going to have a corner 7 yards off to the outside. I'm going to leave my weak safety back here to force if we get a quick run right here. It's not like a major issue, but I could see getting some kind of a pin and pull type of scheme where we're getting somebody coming around. Maybe this guy's coming around and trying to hook our defensive end. Something like that. You could possibly get it. I don't know why they would run this guy out here unless you just totally overshifted. But for starters, I'm going to leave my weak safety here because he's normally our force player. All right. Our free safety can slide over. Probably somewhere around that guard tackle gap. Our strong safety is going to be up. And his normal rule would be outside leverage of number 2. I think that works okay here. I think that's all right. So, just saying that I don't want to make a ton of adjustments for him over here. And then the last thing is I would be cornered over. And so I would have an extra corner over here because there's no reason for him to be back here. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at with this. And I actually think you end up pretty good on the number situation there. I think you end up in a good situation with this. It's all condensed down. There is the potential, gap-wise, you could double to the mic, get a base. You're going to want somebody to be coming up in there and inserting and giving you some help. But coverage-wise, you're good to go. You've actually got more than you need. Somebody's going to be picking up any sort of crossing route. He can be backside for crossers, picking up underneath routes. So you're in pretty good shape here. And that's really just our base rules. So I want to talk a little bit about a couple of other things that you can do. Another one, if they like, this formation is pretty wacky, okay? So it's probably unlikely that you would use this. But if they start doing a lot of, like I said, pulling some guys outside, running a stretch run here somehow, one of the things that we'll do is adjust the defensive linemen, but not the linebackers. And so in that case, our Will backer would stay here, and our Mike backer, okay, they would be basing this off of this is your center and your guard, to whereas the defensive line is based off of this is everything else. I think that's an unlikely adjustment to use, but it's a potential. It's to adjust the defensive line, but not the linebackers. The same thing, if we go opposite of that, again, I don't think this is a very likely one that you would use. I would adjust the linebackers because this is such an extreme example. You're pretty unlikely to use these types of adjustments. And I guess you would have to be in a 7 technique probably. Well, this would be his tight end. So could be there. You could do that. You might bring the strong safety down, but again, you're really weak over here because this is such an extreme example. These are things that we might use more often in situations where they just bring one guy over. And another one is to do nothing. That's actually a fourth way to adjust. It's to do absolutely nothing. I have played teams that didn't use quite this in extreme, where they would leave a couple of receivers, maybe leave an H back and an X over here. And we would just do nothing because they were really trying to get you to over adjust and run back this way. So not in this extreme example. In this extreme example, I like our base way of playing it. The other thing is to just bring one guy over. We've actually done that as part of our base way. In this case, there's too many guys to bring over, but one of the things that we could say, if you want to just change how you work your personnel, is to bring your defensive end. Maybe you play your strong end, your weak end, your 3 technique, bring those guys over. Sorry. Bring one over there to match that. You've brought one over with your corner to match their, let's say that we just want to bring it over here, just to give us a little bit different look. So what I'm doing now is, instead of shifting guys, I'm just bringing guys over to match what they're doing. And so that's another option that you could do when we just bring guys over. A lot of times this is like corners over, twin situation, corners over against a nub tight end with 2 receivers. We just bring one over to match it, and that's how you handle unbalance. Same thing if we got trips. We could bring one over to match it, or slide, or whatever. But 5 ways to play unbalanced, and pretty much finding the center of the 5 fat kids is the best way to do it in most situations, especially on the fly. Our other options are to have the linebackers recognize it, but not the defensive linemen. Have the defensive linemen slide, but not the linebackers. In an extreme example like this, you're probably not going to use that. A 4th way is to do nothing. In an extreme example like this, you've got to do something. And then the last way is to just match the guys that they bring over. We're kind of already doing that because we've got the nub situation, bringing the corner over. So we're actually using 2 different base rules here. One with the corners over against the nub side, and one with the middle of the 5 fat guys. So that's how we're going to handle that look. You could go even more extreme and bring more guys over here, but that would be total game plan. So you've got to look and see, what do they do out of this? If all they're running is Q sweep with all these bodies over here, then yeah, we might do something different than that, and bring an extra guy onto this side. So lots of options. How spread out they are might affect what we do. Just all kinds of things. You could get a screen over here, so you might want to get an extra body. Lots of options. If you want to learn more about the 4-2-5 defense, I've got a free video series that you can check out, and the link is down in the description below. Just go to that link and sign up to get the first video emailed to you directly, and then there'll be 2 more coming after that to your email inbox. If you found this video helpful for your football team, please go down and like this video. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, then click somewhere over here to subscribe. You're going to want to subscribe because I put out new videos every week for football coaches. When you subscribe, you'll get all the information and get notified when those new videos come out. And then over here are a couple of my other videos that you might want to check out.